So I've been very much in the firm belief that the big franchises, the big studios are the ones that need to be at the forefront of bettering diversity and representation. These franchises like the MCU, like Doctor Who, the DCEU, and Star Wars, and there have been massive strides in a lot of them, particularly Star Wars and Doctor Who, and moving forward the MCU in doing this kind of thing. However, it's not just about what is happening in front of the camera to better representation and diversity, it's also really important about what is happening behind the camera and in the offices, because in order to keep that integrity of diverse storytelling, we need to make sure that the people behind the camera, that we have a massive diverse pool as well. And that is something Kathleen Kennedy has been doing over at LucasFilm, and it's something we're going to explore in this video today to see exactly the strides she has been making behind the scenes at LucasFilm. So strap yourselves in, let's go.
And they work together incredibly well, and having that sense of diversity as people come together was really important to our story.
Welcome to the final video in this brand new series here on Hakuna MaChatter, Diversity Heroes, in which I am looking at some of my favourite people within the film and TV industry in Hollywood and the UK who are working, leading the charge to better diversity and representation. Today it's Kathleen Kennedy, and yo, the force is female with this one, I can tell you. So let's start with in front of the camera. Let's just kind of get that out of the way and see how it's changed and developed at Lucasfilm, and that really it's kind of not a coincidence that that has happened. In the George Lucas era, we got some fantastic female characters. We got Princess Leia Organa, we got Queen Amidala, and we got Ahsoka Tano, just the three standout characters there who we all love and adore, and we continue to love and adore, and I continue to love and adore. But then we kind of fast forward to the Disney takeover and Kathleen Kennedy leading the charge at Lucasfilm now, and the list of female characters just grew exponentially. We have Rey Skywalker, we have Jyn Erso, we have Admiral Holdo, Rose Tico, we have Hera Syndulla, we have Sabine Wren. It's a crazy, crazy list. I could go on forever and always about it, but I actually already did in a past video. If you want to check that out, you can check that out there. And as I say, this wasn't a coincidence. Back in 2016, Kathleen Kennedy revealed that over half of her executive team were female. And this carries importance because, similar to what I said in my video on Kevin Feige, it's that suddenly you have different people of lived experience working around, and when there are more of that, when it is more equitable or more equal, suddenly that lived experience begins to shape and determine what is being made. And that's really important when you're trying to tell the stories of lead female characters such as Rey and Jyn. And I think what Kathleen Kennedy shows is that it is completely possible to do that. You know, I'm sure there are lots of studios out there that will go, yeah, no, we tried to do it, but there just wasn't enough people out there. You know, there weren't enough people applying for the job, so we just hired this dude still again, and why not? When actually, well, if you actually try, then you can achieve that. And there was a great quote I found from Kathleen that says this: "In the creative community, there's no excuse for not making a more equitable environment. It literally comes down to companies that just aren't trying," right? That just aren't trying. And as I say, it's not just in front of the camera, it's not just an executive team, it's kind of sweeping across the board over at Lucasfilm. You see in The Mandalorian, we are getting female directors there as well, with Bryce Dallas Howard and Deborah Chow. And Deborah Chow doing so well and impressing so much with her episodes, she is now helming the Obi-Wan series, something that is wanted by fans, has been wanted by fans for so long, and it's now being helmed by a female director. And that shows that actually, if you open up the doors and give the opportunities, amazing things are going to happen.
I think it's incredibly important to Star Wars. I think it's more important to the film industry in general. I think, you know, having casts that represent and reflect the world today and having characters that people can relate to all over the world.
And then again, it's not just the hiring of people that Kathleen Kennedy is doing, she's also opening up internships as well. And there was one noticeable one with Industrial Light and Magic, in which they are actively trying to get young women into careers within tech, within the entertainment industry. And you know, that's where traditionally a lot of these job roles are held completely and exclusively by men, but now we're getting more women in there as well, and Kathleen Kennedy is one of those people that is trying to do that, trying to open up these opportunities and lend different voices, different thoughts and ideas and opinions, which only will help a company grow and people grow. Now, that's not to say that Lucasfilm doesn't have an area in which it can grow. You saw the comments earlier in the year from John Boyega, and as much as that was about Lucasfilm, that was more about the general landscape of Hollywood. So that's a very different video, and I probably have already made that video by the time this video is coming out. However, that really shouldn't overshadow what Kathleen Kennedy has achieved in the background of Lucasfilm, diversifying that company, similar to what Kevin Feige is doing over at the MCU. To bring in and encourage more female voices into a heavily male-dominated environment is achievement unlocked, I believe is the phrase one could use. And then that in turn means that the female characters going out onto these films and TV shows, they are more well-rounded, they have more things to do, they are finally leading the charge in their own stories, and it's inspiring to watch, similar with, Captain Marvel and how young girls are just like dressing up as Captain Marvel. When you go to Comic-Cons, particularly here in London, when you go to Comic-Cons and you see the amount of Star Wars cosplays, and majority of them, I'm pretty sure, at least I've noticed, are Rey. Like, the majority of cosplays are Rey now, and that's it. Some Kylo Ren, some Vaders, some Lukes here and there, the odd Princess Leia, but majority are Rey these days. And, that's just from what I've seen. Maybe where you are, it's different. But yeah, overall, great work from Kathleen Kennedy, I'd say. Now let's just help John out and sort that issue. In terms of recommendations for stuff to watch under the Kathleen Kennedy banner, just watch watch Rebels. Actually, I'd say go watch Rebels. That TV show is heavily underrated, and you have some great female characters in Hera Syndulla and Sabine Wren, and Ahsoka returns as well if you're a fan of Clone Wars and you love Ahsoka. So definitely go and check that out for some really inspiring, amazing female characters. That concludes this series here on Hakuna MaChatter, Diversity Heroes. Thank you very much. Who has been your favourite person to hear me talk about? Let me know in the comment section down below. Series 2 of Diversity Heroes is in development, so make sure you are subscribed, turn on that bell notification so you know when Series 2 drops. We'll be talking about some absolutely amazing people leading the charge to better representation within Hollywood and the UK film and TV industries. Until then, Hakuna MaChatter.